Thank God we made no promises to be in a better spot because it is 11:12 p.m. and once again we are driving through a blizzard to get back home here post softball tournament. Just had a really good tournament. It's cool to see the sacrifices paying off. But this morning we spent a lot of time editing a podcast because my computer was left it out in the cold last night, and it was not having a fun time this morning. When I was trying to edit the podcast, bro, you should have heard this thing. It was like, the fan felt like it was going to explode. I had to smack it a couple times, and then it worked. But everything was kind of slow. Anyways, on the podcast this morning, we had Lucas Hardy on. Just dropped that one. It's on YouTube as well if you guys want to watch it there. Otherwise, it's on Spotify. But it was a really, really cool podcast with an awesome guy. And one of the things he was talking about, and we kind of discussed back and forth, was flexibility. And like the ability to grow or become more flexible, and how everybody says it's genetic, and how he's like, it's not genetic, it's your training, it's the reps that you put in. And one of the things that we talked about there was all of the reps you don't see people doing. And this is something that is like we as a human species is really, really bad at. We are not good at seeing the past and the data points that lead up to the current results. All we are very good at is just looking in the moment, like what's happening. Oh, that person's not stretching right now, or I'm stretching the same as that person right now. Why am I not as flexible as them? It was a big actually eye-opener in the softball world for me. It's like I'm taking way more BP as these guys. Like, why am I not better than them right now? And what you don't see there is, I never played baseball growing up, and these kids have these adults have 15 to 16 to 20 years of baseball experience. Even if they started when they're 5 and they only played all of high school, that's 13 years of baseball experience, of swings that you have to catch up on. And one of the things there that I think we can expand that through just probably something, and hopefully something a little bit more important than slow pitch softball, but if you're a slow pitch softball guy listening, that's probably something to learn there, is that is all skill sets in life. It is just a rep game. You can be naturally more predispositioned to be a kinder person, to be a nicer person, to be a more charismatic person, to be a better speaker, to be funnier. Like, all of these things are trainable skill sets. And some people just started when they were young. You know, like there was a 5-year-old funny kid, made a funny joke to his parents. He laughed. He realized he could get a dopamine response or get some love from that, and he continually made jokes. One of the things that I talk about a lot is I feel very creative, especially compared to my field. And one of the reasons I'm very creative is when I was a kid, all we had is, we lived in this trailer house that was surrounded by 40 acres of woods. And I would just walk around with a stick and create these fantasy battles in my head and like fight these creatures all around me. Anyways, weird as fuck. I was a really, really nerdy kid. I would do all these battles, and then I would go write a story after it. But I was getting reps on reps. I was getting hours of reps. In the summer, man, it would be from whenever I woke up until whenever my parents called me back from the woods. I would be getting these creative reps in. And obviously, naturally, I'm more a creative person. So now, like, people will look at it and be like, oh, that guy's creative. Yeah, but it's not because I was born creative. It's because I was in an environment in which creativity gave me a reward for years on end. And that is the same thing for any skill set you guys are trying to develop. If you want to be a nicer person, immerse yourself in an environment and get reps over and over and over again to be a nicer person, to create that avatar, to level up your own avatar to the skill set that you want to develop, and realize that other people are just in environments that were rewarded for that longer, whether it was their family structure, whatever it is. And that is not to dismiss the tough struggles you've gone to, or the family structure that didn't allow you to get those reps in. That sucks. That is not great. That's obviously not what we want. But what it does do, and what I've realized in my own life, is it gives me control. I'm not good at something. I don't feel confident in public speaking. Okay, I'm gonna go start a podcast. I'm gonna continually rep out the ability to speak. Same thing with this YouTube. I don't feel great at on the spot talking to a camera. I'm gonna miss my turn here. On the spot talking to a camera, I'm going to get a bunch of reps in. I'm going to develop that. Same thing with humor. Like, humor is definitely one. I feel like I've got 14 million times funnier in the past 6 years with my gym, because I have a bunch of funny athletes in my gym, and if you don't level up yourself in the ability to be funny, you're gonna get roasted, and you're not gonna be able to stand. So immersing yourself in environments that allow you to develop these skill sets and realizing they are all developable skill sets. Anything that you want to become, I truly believe, and this is not some fucking Hallmark card, it is anything you want to become, I truly believe it is a developable skill set. And when somebody is better at you than that skill set, it's because they have thousands and millions of reps throughout their life that you have not seen, and now you just equate it to, in the moment, they are a funnier person than you. Maybe they're just naturally funny, and you start to think that, and that's how your brain wires. Whereas I really think there's a better way to look at life, and a more realistic way to look at life, and just understand you do not have the reps that person has, whatever within whatever skill set you are trying to develop, and that you can go get those reps. That is the freeing part of it. You can go get those reps, you can level up your character, and you can truly become anybody you want to become. And if you guys haven't read the book Illusions by Richard Bosch, it's a really, really phenomenal read, and it's a very quick read, but it's kind of the story of that. Like, at any moment, you can change the movie that you have playing in your life, and you can change the characters that you have been playing in your life, and you can obviously change the setting by just moving. But the freedom and the control that gives a lot of people, that I feel like we just give up, and we write off and say, well, that person has that person has that. I truly don't believe that. I think they are skill sets that we have developed through thousands and millions of reps throughout our lives, probably way before we even knew we were developing those skill sets or actively developing those skill sets. It was just something that as a kid we were immersed in those environments, and now we have those skill sets. So if you want to go do something, go immerse yourself in an environment that allows you to get the reps to go do it, and don't give up that control. You can develop any skill set. I'm telling you, if I can develop these skill sets, fucking anybody can develop these skill sets. If you guys knew me as a kid, wearing I was talking to somebody today, I was wearing Pokemon shirts to fucking high school classes as freshman and sophomore in high school, and getting bullied for it, and just not able to talk to anybody or voice any feeling that I had or do anything. But yeah, I couldn't even write at that time. I just had no ability because I hadn't leveled them up, and I just said, screw that, I'm gonna go level these abilities up and be able to do these things. It would blow your mind. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. That sounds Hallmarky. I'm gonna work on my message of not sounding Hallmarky there, because it makes me want to punch myself in the face there. But hopefully the message gets across. Thank you guys for listening. Boom, back tomorrow.